here, JBF Music and Guitar Lessons. In this quick guitar tricks we're looking at the often neglected Phrygian blues scale. If you want an example of this in action, check out the live versions of Jamiroquai's Deeper Underground, link in the description and the pinned comment below. Feel free to use the timestamps down there as well to jump about to any parts that are most relevant to yourself. Alright, the scale itself is Phrygian but with the added blues note. Rather than start there, I want to peel it back a bit. So first up, let's stick with a C minor blues scale, like in bar 1 there. However, we'll be playing this over a Phrygian backing track, C Phrygian backing track. I'll link to the full jam track with a card on the top right, along with a more mellow version, but for now, here's a clip of it. Just play some of your usual blues scale licks, and listen to how it sounds and feels against this backing. Okay, so hopefully that sounded a bit edgy but kind of cool as well. It might take a few tries to get to the stage where it feels a bit more natural though. The reason it might sound weird is because Phrygian blues is not that common a sound when compared to the Dorian blues scale, for example, lesson card up there. Even though you're sticking to a C blues scale, it will sound more exotic purely because of the backing, which is a bit of a bonus tip. A more sophisticated backing, or modal backing in this case, can make what you're playing sound more complex or modal, even if it's based largely in the pentatonic. And this blending idea will be a foundation for this tutorial. A great tip I heard from Guthrie Govan is to think of scales as dimmer switches, so the pentatonic is one shade and the Phrygian is another. Rather than being a binary on-off, we can blend in different shades of each scale. So a great way of doing this, like you just did, start with a blues scale, and then start adding in more notes. Here we'll use the flat second, a real key to the Phrygian sound. It occurs in 3 places. And you can see those in bar 2. And when we put that into the scale, which is bar 3, now, I'd suggest playing over that same backing track, but this time when you want to hear more of the Phrygian shades, play that note a little bit more. The next notes we'll add in are the flat 6 in that first bar up there. When we do this, we get the full Phrygian blues scale. The reason I stripped back the scale and built it up is to outline that a lot of the licks and ideas you already have will probably translate quite well, and with some minor tweaks others will slot in right there as well. The risk of learning a new scale is that we tend to just meander up and down it, and all the stuff we know as players goes right out the window. Well, it certainly was the case with myself in years gone by anyway. So again, when you want shades of Phrygian, put in the flat second and the flat 6. When you want less, lean more on the blues or minor pentatonic scale, so here's that backing track one more time. while these notes add in some really nice flavour, resolving to the root, the flat third, and the fifth. Most of the time will still sound great. In particular, I really like ending a lick on the fifth when playing in Phrygian. Yeah, so hopefully you've got a bit of a feel for this scale and developed or started to create some of your own ideas. So now we'll look at what I played in the intro, which is split into 3 licks, the first being this. Okay, there's quite a bit going on here. It's starting out purely Phrygian and bending that flat 7 up to the root. And then leaning hard into the flat second. That note there for a bit more bite. The semitone bend and the 10th fret. So we're going this one here. So use a little hint of the blues scale. And then I kind of just launch straight into the blues scale. Giving more shades from the minor pentatonic for the rest of the bar, I suppose. Bonus tip. For me, this is a real key of getting a Phrygian blues sound. This is personal taste, but I really like to use it to add some spice over some essentially very bluesy rock licks. If I want more edge, I'll use the flat second and the 6th more, but I think the melodic qualities of the minor pentatonic really help to rein in the scale a little bit so it doesn't sound too out there. Bar 2 starts with a Phrygian descent. Only calling upon the blues note in that last group of 16th notes there. When it goes to the 9th fret for a bit of a hot sauce just to round up the lick there. And then I'm ending on the root. Just for added stability. You can even mix in some Phrygian dominant like Adrian Smith's solo in Iron Maiden's Wicker Man, lesson card up there on the top right, but I'm not delving into that particular hybrid scale in this lesson. Totally abandoning the bluesy vibes from that last lick, this is very Phrygian, hitting its money notes of the flat second and the flat 6. We start off going root, flat second root, 5th flat 6 5th, then root flat second root again, but the octave higher. This is a simple theme but really effective to get a sinister semitone vibe going on. In bar 3, when I bring in the blues note, we're going the 4th to the blues note to the 4th. I'm not using it in a bluesy way at all really, I'm using it for this tension, this semitone tension that we're building here. Then I'm really trying to milk this. Remember, repetition is a powerful tool, abuse it as much as you can get away with. Bonus points if you got that reference. But yeah, squeezing every penny out of my theme by going to the blues note, the flat 5, to the 5th, then back to the blues note for some real tension. If you're hanging on that note, it's going to sound pretty spicy. Bonus tip, you could even go from the 5th to the flat 6. if you wanted this lick and theme to go on for longer, but at this point I just kind of wanted to wrap the lick up, and I just came down, going flat second, root, flat 6, 5th. This time ending the lick on the 5th, which you might have guessed, the final lick we're going to look at ends on the flat 3rd. I've done this to help tie in with what I was saying before about resolving these licks to chord tones and to give a rough idea of how each sort of sounds and feels. We've done a fairly bluesy lick, a pretty Phrygian one, albeit with different shades throughout the lick, so the next area I would suggest looking at is a bit of an exotic sound, maybe a little bit like Marty Friedman, tutorial card in the top right for more on his exotic scale usage. Starting on the 5th, I'm really playing about with having a chromatic run from the 4th, the blues note, the 5th, and then the flat 6, which you also get here. But rather than playing them like that, I'm kind of bending between them for this more kind of exotic, quasi-microtonal sound. So this bend, kind of hinting at that flat 6, pulling off to the 4th, then I'm sliding up to the blues note, then getting a kind of delayed bend up a semitone. Back to the 5th. Bonus tip, here what you could do is tap the 15th fret of the B string while keeping the note bent. For a kind of more exotic sound. I opted to make life a bit easier for myself and just played the 3rd on the 11th fret. Oops, 11th fret, yeah. On the E instead. Then I'm using the root and the flat 2nd as a kind of lead in for this next bar, in which we have a fairly out-sounding string skip. I'm going flat 3rd, flat 2nd, root, blues note, 4th, flat 3rd, and then kind of back up the same way. Going flat 3rd, 4th, blues note, root, flat 2, flat 3rd, and then we're just kind of repeating that. Then squeezing in 5 notes in the space of 4, for a final flourish before ending up on that flat 3rd. If you're looking for more licks or something to bounce off, check out this solo trading video where I pop off every so often and do some leads over that same backing. On a side note, I tend to use the pentatonic shape that we looked at here near the beginning as a basis for a lot of lessons, partly because it's well known. Most players will have a decent grasp of it and it is fairly intuitive. But please let me know if you'd prefer different boxes, if you'd kind of prefer to learn things in different shapes in different areas of the fretboard. In fact, I'll put up a poll in the community bit, so please go and check that out and vote in it. That was a quick introduction to the Phrygian blues scale. This has been Quick Tricks, that's the playlist there. For some more exotic licks, check out this George Lynch Pro Tips tutorial. And if you've enjoyed this and want to stay up to date with the channel, hit subscribe, share, like, comment, and enable notifications with that little bell on the side, if you feel so inclined. Cheers, guys.